Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. So I'm going to show you what progress I made on this station building last night after I published that video. Well, I published it this morning. Today's the Saturday the 22nd of November, if I don't remember badly. So I gave an undercoat in this lighter Vallejo paint to all the red parts. You can see that, it's a pointer, it's come very nice on parts that were painted white. We still have some problems in covering some of the white here. It's a bit splodgy looking. These windows over here, these ones I've only had one coat of paint, and the gutters are quite okay, but there's still some sort of traces. This wasn't painted very well. There's some slate grey underneath and so on. So what I'm going to do, and this is a suggestion by Railway 187 Eric, I'm going to mix some of the darker red, because generally the red on railway stations tends to be a darker red, which when it's dry, it's sort of this kind of dark red here, right? While the brighter one is this more orangey colour here, but of course you can't see very well. It's also, I'm trying to do things in daylight, but there's not very much daylight because it's very cloudy, so we're in electric light as usual, you see. And but I'm going to make the paint semi-gloss, or as gloss as possible. This of course is a matte paint, by mixing it in a 50-50 mix with some gloss varnish. I've done this kind of trick before on other models. In fact, my scratch-built rail car, the blue one, it's in semi-gloss, and I think even my green one, the rail bus, is also in semi-gloss, mixing matte paint in 50-50 mix with gloss varnish. So, let's begin. This door here was first painted in the darker red, and then with another coat of the brighter red on top of it, and it looks quite good. This brickwork here, I'm going to weather it. This is already a kind of orangey brick colour, and I'm just going to weather this, make it, put a dark wash on it with a brush. The problem is that in some points the white paint stained it, so I'll have to cover that. We'll see anyway. First we do all the red paint, then we'll see about that. So I'm beginning. We won't do it all on camera because it might be a bit boring, but let's begin. So, oops, crash bang wallop. Let's mix some red paint. Make a semi-gloss dark red paint. Let's see how it happens. What am I going to use? I think I'm going to mix my paint in there, considering I'm going out in an hour, more or less, even less, so we'll make enough paint to see us through this part of the project. Okay, there's a blob of matte red, Vallejo red, Rojo 70926, and now we'll put in a same equivalent amount of gloss varnish, still Vallejo. Is it Vallejo? Yes, Vallejo. Gloss varnish 70510. I have to be careful in shaking this because this tends to make bubbles when you shake it up. So I'm just going to go in here like this. This is wetter, so this will actually help. This will also dilute the paint a bit. So we're at a 50-50. Okay, let's see how we're going to get on. The Uniposca white marker was very good in covering any spillage of paint onto the white the white render, the plaster effect, and very, very good. Excellent for covering red. I had some that went there last night, and it's not visible. Okay doke, let's mix our paint. I'm just using some of this reddish water here. And let's see how it comes. So we'll begin with the gates, because this way I clean this brush, because I'm not using this brush much. I'm really using this very fine 0.5 brush to do this job, because it's a very, very precision job. Let's add a wee bit more water in here just to make it a bit wetter, but not too wet, because we don't want it running. And this paint might do the whole thing. So we'll begin painting together, and then after I'll cut it short. I mean, I don't think I'm not making edited videos. I'm making single takes this time here. That way we've got time to discuss about the work in progress as we go along. Okay, that's a nice red. Wow. Okay, let's begin with the gate. I'm thinking maybe that, yes, it looks a richer red now, better than this kind of more tomato. Of course, we don't really know until we've got the thing, until it dries. But I think at this point, with the lighter red undercoats, it's going to be really a much better result. Plus then we'll eliminate this brick red at the bottom, this orange, the last traces of orange paint, of orange plastic, visible orange plastic. That's quite nice. Wow, that's good. That's good. That's good. And the gloss will definitely look the part much better with a glossy or semi-gloss effect. It won't be shiny because it's semi-gloss this way. And I like the semi-gloss finish. It's realistic. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. Let's begin with the window. I'm trying to, sorry, apologise for the position you're in. It's in a very, I think you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I have to sort of compromise between showing you what I'm doing and being able to work in a sort of ergonomic way and finishing my cup of tea at the same time. There, that's a tea finished. Okay. Okay, doke, let's do this window here. We'll do the canopy last because we don't want to make a mess of things. Oh, very clever. I put my finger on there. Yep, eat it. Fresh paint, put my finger on it. Bah, there you go. Start. Okay. Got another wee lick. A big fingerprint on there. Okie doke. Righto, let's get this here done. Begin with the lintels, both lintels. Then I'll do the windowsills. I'm pleased I can use the Uniposca pen to cover any mistakes. I'll do all of that at the end because it's really a very good it covers very well. I'll have to put my enlarging specs on because I can't see. Put these +1. Okay, very well. The last clip was a bit short because the phone had a problem and it interrupted. It was just recording the voice and not the video. so it's a bit shorter, but anyway, I painted the thing. I'll show you what I did. I painted, there's this JJ locomotive, it's been here for ages. I have to change the last rubber bands in it. It's been here for over a year on the table. Okay, so the darker paint, Vallejo darker paint 70926, mixed with a spot of, with a 50-50 mix of paint and gloss varnish, has definitely, it looks better. It looks much better. And I've painted all the windows on this side. The advertising billboards, these look really nice and red. This fence here, gutters, etc. This end over here, this gutter here, this other gutter over here, and I've also painted, and these doors at the back. I still have to paint these windows because I was running out of paint and I had to go out. I still have to do this side here, which we will actually do a little bit together now, just to show you what I did, what I've got, how it's coming. And then I was going to show you another thing now, actually more interesting. So you can see that here's a pointer here. I spilled out a bit over here on the white with the red paint, even if I was using a very small brush. And I'm going to use my Uniposca pen, my acrylic paint marker pen, and I'll correct that, and you'll see that the Uniposca is super covering. It manages to cover even red paint. Red paint's not an easy thing to cover, so I've got my Uniposca pen. Okay, and you watch. It's a bit tricky for me to work in this position, but you watch how the Uniposca is going to just cover that. Magic. Covered the paint, the red paint. So I'm going to go around this frame with the Uniposca. Absolutely perfect. And the same thing here. I tested it here last night, in fact. And it's white, exactly like the paint I've been using here. In fact, we're going to use a wee bit of Uniposca even here, because there was a bit of overspill onto the white paint. That's absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Magic. And I think there's also a point here where I was a bit problematic here. There we go. That's straightened up nicely. Same story here. That's absolutely wonderful. Look at that. And here as well. It's a bit messy looking there. I think I've been too generous with Uniposca now. I went and covered the red, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I might touch that up a bit to compensate for the Uniposca. I've been too generous. In fact, I can even, if I want, I can even go in here and correct that point there, because I want to have that more white. And there. And there. That's really good. I want to have these window frame parts. Just an idea of mine to have them white. Doesn't really matter if they're not white. Also, because the doors are red inside, so I could not bother about the doors. I'm just keeping this business with the windows. So the doors will actually keep them all the way red inside. The windows will have the sort of white finish. Look how it covers, it's fantastic. It's very good. Might touch that up a wee bit afterwards. That's very nice. So I would say that it's been a very good idea using the Uniposca to sort these things out. You cannot see where I touch things up. Not at all. Not at all, not at all. Okay, so now I'm going to begin painting the last window frames, maybe touch these up a wee bit, gutters, etc. And I might show you a bit of that on camera. Okay, so I've painted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows, and the 2 doors. I've given them a second coat of paint so that it'll be a wee bit glossier. Now I am going to finish off the 2 toilet windows with the small brush here, and then we'll do the gutters together. We have to do the vertical downpipe as well, and we're doing the window here. Get rid of that. First we do the windowsills and the lintel, and then we do the rest of the window. So today I was away, Saturday the 22nd. I was in Borgorico. I've already published the video, you can see it, at the Museum of the Roman Centuriation, or Roman Grid, in the northeast of the province, Borgorico, where there's all the we still have all the Roman field and road layout, everything by right angles. Very, very interesting museum. We shortish, not very long, just gives you an idea. Definitely, if you're in this part of the world, I suggest visiting it. It's very quiet. It's in the cultural centre in Borgorico. Borgorico is a small municipality in the northeast of the province, and plenty of car parking places. Very interesting even for children. There's a very nice cake shop not far from there. We didn't go because it was a bit busy. It was a bit late when we came out. We just decided to go home and have some normal food. But we would have been good. A very good cake shop. I was there a couple of weeks back, and they make a very, very good strudel and lots of other nice cakes. Italian cakes are somewhat similar to French confectionery. As beignets, they're like eclairs, let's say. Very good, but there is a relation, let's say. There's a sort of a mix, something similar to France, something similar to Austria, Germany, because we're up here in the northeast as well. I mean, I know the speciality is more of the north than in Rome and the centre of Italy. Things are completely different. Italy is a very long country, very long, and things change very much. And there's a big difference between the north and the centre and the south. In fact, many people associate Italy, the mainstream idea is very much central or southern Italy. The north is not so well known because many parts of the north don't have such a tourist appeal, apart from places like Venice, Milan, Turin. People go for a specific reason, but the north is quite distinct and very differently. Things change in Veneto, for example. There are differences by province. It's not. Oops. There's still this medieval structure in Italy, particularly up here in the north, where each provincial capital was a capital, often at war with the neighbouring province, until eventually the smaller provinces were swallowed up by the bigger ones, and then by the biggest regional ones, in this case here in Veneto, Venice. Okay, let's go here and do this downpipe. I need my enlarging glasses because I can't see. So once I've done this, we'll see maybe later. I might see if I have to give these windows a second coat. I would like to have finished get this downpipe painted. Famous Italian singer died, Ornella Vanoni. She was very good. She was 91, I think, but still very active, still singing. She died yesterday on the 21st of November. She was really a very active, very interesting singer, and she'd been doing collaborations with contemporary groups. Like, she was one of the big Italian singers of the 60s and 70s, Ornella Vanoni, from Milan. Very good voice, you can look her up on YouTube. And she did collaborations with Italian group Negramaro in recent years. So a person with a great will to live. And she wasn't well in this last period. She had problems and things, but she was still doing it. She was still doing it. That's it. An example, honestly, an example. And I'm sorry she died, because she's okay. She was old, she was 91, yes, but she was a very active person. And as a friend of mine says, age is a number. Yes, age is a number. Often there are too many birthdays. That's true, but that's why we must never ever let these small details of age or problems rule our life. Never. Okay. So I've given that downpipe another touch up. It's very good that if I can correct any messy parts using the Uniposca pen, which really makes me feel more relaxed when I'm painting red on white. Right, okay, we've done that. Now we're going to take the other brush, the number 1, and I'm going to try and not make a mess everywhere, and I'm going to give a final coat to this gutter here. And I hope you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you should be. So you can look up Ornella Vanoni. She collaborated a lot. She even had a relation with the Italian singer Gino Paoli, who's the same age. He's still singing, he's still active. It's this generation of singers, of Italian artists that were born in the 30s. Obviously, they're passing on because of age. But they were really great artists, absolutely. Another Milva died a few years back. We're talking about another great Italian singer and artist who died 2-3 years ago, Franco Battiato. Franco Battiato was a great intellectual, a genius, absolutely. A singer, but maybe a singer or a philosopher. Franco Battiato is one of my favorite Italian artists. I often listen to Franco Battiato when I'm doing modeling work because it's very relaxing. There's a lot of thought in Franco Battiato. And he collaborated with another great singer who's still with us, Alice. Very, very good. You listen to the song by Alice, Per Elisa, which is a strong, it's a condemns heroin. Per Elisa, look up Per Elisa, Alice. What a voice, what a voice. Oh, incredible, incredible. But Franco Battiato's all good. Anything by Franco Battiato. Franco Battiato was from Sicily, from Catania. Okay, I think we're getting on quite well. I've built many a model and painted things and done jobs at night listening to Franco Battiato. More or less he died in the same period. I think it must have been November of 3, I can't remember. I think in 2022, 21 or 22, I can't remember if it was 21 or 22 that he passed away, Franco Battiato, but I've always liked his songs. So you start from Ornella Vanoni and you end up talking about Franco Battiato. Right, I think that's quite nice. Of course you're seeing it upside down. I think these windows will need another wee touch up because you can see there was plenty of white splodgy bits here. It looks pretty not very uniform. I don't know, maybe you see it looks nicer. It looks nicer to you than what I can see it. But I'd say that we're getting there. Definitely the doors are red now. They're not brick orange. So we're going to see what to do here now. I would like to just weather this brickwork with a dark wash. The only thing I'm going to have to touch up some things up here because when I was painting the slate roof I wasn't really careful and I made a bit of a mess up here thinking, oh anyway I'll touch it up, I'll paint it brick. I have to touch it up a wee bit here as well. Okay, so that's that for the moment. I don't know if I'm winding up the video right now. If so, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and of course I like reading your comments. Let me know what you think about this thing here. I might do a wee overview once I touch these up and give them the last final touch up and show you the end of this phase. Maybe yes, maybe no, it depends. So if not, it's cheerio and see you next time. If you see another wee clip, it wasn't cheerio and see you next time. Okay, so here I'm back again with before the end of this clip, and I made a kind of orangey brown dirty brick coloured wash by mixing this. I mixed red, yellow, black, and it came a kind of dirty brick brown there. I made it pretty liquid, and I made a wash because I had to cover the slate grey on, or sort of tone down the slate grey that was on the chimneys there, and it seems to be much better. And I also applied to the brick base of the wall, and you can see how here where it's already dry, it's a good kind of weathering. We can see the brickwork, but we've eliminated that plastickiness. And then what I'll do after, I'll apply a spot of very wet. Now here it's still wet, it's still very wet. It's not dry yet there. It's a bit more brownish over here. We can see the brickwork, you see. So we'll see once it's completely dry even over here how it comes. And then we'll apply a very, very light black wash to all the bare brick. Okay, right. So that's the end of this video. Unless I didn't do it on camera because I had to hold the model in a it was pretty complicated. And what I might do tomorrow, I'll dedicate a video, a single take video to the actual weathering down here and the weathering of the brickwork. We'll see how it is. Very well, so that's this edited video finished, and I think I should go to my bed because it's 12:30. Okay, good night. Better go my kip. Cheerio, and see you next time.